Welcome to Soul Stories, where every tale touches the heart, inspires the mind, and stays with the soul. Ava Sterling, one of the youngest and most influential billionaires in New York City, stepped out of a black SUV and breathed in the crisp evening air. Tonight was supposed to be different. No charity galas, no red carpets, no endless business, meetings that stretched long into the night. She had promised her 8-year-old son Liam that they would finally have a quiet dinner together, just the two of them. Like any normal family, the small family-run restaurant she chose wasn't glamorous or exclusive. It didn't have gold-plated menus or private rooms like the places she usually visited for work. Instead, it had wooden booths, warm lighting, and the comforting smell of fresh bread drifting through the air. For once, Ava felt like she could breathe freely without a dozen eyes watching her every move. Liam happily ran ahead and slid into a booth by the window. "Mom, this place feels cozy," he said, his eyes sparkling. Ava smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear as she joined him. She hadn't realized how much she missed moments like this, simple, ordinary, peaceful. As Ava opened the menu, something caught her attention. At the table beside him sat a man who looked like he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. His shirt was clean but faded, his hands rough as if he worked long hours. Across from him sat a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, with big, hopeful eyes. "Daddy, can I get the pasta?" the girl asked softly. The man hesitated. Ava could see him glance at the prices, his jaw tightening for a moment before he forced a smile. "Maybe we can share something tonight, sweetheart," he said gently. The girl nodded, trying to hide her disappointment. She played with a napkin, looking at other kids in the room who were happily eating dishes she could only dream of. Ava's chest tightened. She knew that look. She remembered being a child and watching her own mother pretend she wasn't hungry so Ava could have a little more. She remembered the embarrassment, the fear, the constant worry about money before life had changed overnight. Liam tugged at her sleeve. "Mom, why does that girl look sad?" Ava looked at her son, so innocent, so unaware of how harsh the world could be. "Because some families have it harder than others," she whispered. As the waiter approached their table, Ava's gaze drifted back to the single dad. She had come tonight for a peaceful dinner with his son, but destiny clearly had a different plan. Something inside her stirred a quiet, persistent urge that she could not ignore. Ava Sterling felt her heart tugged, and she knew this evening was about to become anything but ordinary. Mason shifted uncomfortably in his seat, lowering his eyes as he looked at the menu again. He tried to hide the strain in his voice, but his daughter Emily noticed anyway. She always noticed. Even at her young age, she had learned to read the smallest signs of worry on her father's face. "Sweetheart, maybe we can share one meal tonight," Mason said gently, forcing a smile he didn't feel. Emily nodded quickly, as if she wanted to protect her father from any guilt. "It's okay, Daddy, I'm not very hungry," she said, even though the aroma of food made her stomach growl softly. She covered the sound by hugging her little teddy bear tighter. Ava watched the scene unfold from her booth. She couldn't help it. Every small gesture between Mason and Emily pulled at memories she had buried years ago, the days when she and her mother would split a single sandwich to make it last longer. The nights her mother cried silently after Ava fell asleep. The shame of pretending everything was fine in front of strangers. She blinked, pushing away the ache that rose in her chest. Her life had changed drastically since those days. She had wealth, now, power, everything she once dreamed of. But seeing that man and his daughter brought back a feeling she could never completely erase. Liam tugged at her sleeve again, this time more insistently. "Mom, why does that girl look sad?" he whispered, his brows knitting together. Ava turned to him slowly. His innocent blue eyes were filled with genuine concern, not judgment, not confusion, just pure empathy. She placed a hand gently on his cheek. "Because life isn't fair, sweetheart," she murmured. "Sometimes people try their hardest, and it's still not enough." Liam looked back at Emily, watching as she traced circles on the table with her tiny finger, pretending to be cheerful. "Can we help her?" "Yeah," suddenly. Ava felt a rush of pride. Her son had inherited her heart, not her wealth. But even with this question, Ava hesitated. She didn't want to embarrass the man. She didn't want to make him feel small or pitied. Helping was easy. Helping with dignity, that was the real challenge. Meanwhile, Mason rubbed his forehead tightly. "I'm sorry, Em," he whispered. "Next week will be better, I promise." Emily leaned toward him, offering a smile she had learned from him, a brave one meant to hide fear. "As long as I'm with you, Daddy, it's already good." That single sentence shattered something inside. Ava exhaled shakily. This wasn't a simple dinner anymore. This was a moment that demanded action, quiet, respectful, and meaningful. And as she watched the father and daughter struggle, silently Ava Sterling realized that she could no longer sit still. Asterisk. A waiter approached Ava's table with his notepad ready, but before he could speak, she gently raised her hand. Asterisk. Could you come a little closer? She whispered. Asterisk. He bent down, and Ava murmured something softly, her voice low, careful, and decisive. The waiter straightened, eyes widening in surprise. Are you sure, ma'am? He asked quietly, glancing at the single dad and his daughter. Ava nodded once. Yes, and please, make it look natural. No attention, no announcement. The waiter smiled, understanding the delicacy of what she was doing. Of course, he replied, and walked away with a new purpose in his step. Asterisk. Across the room, Mason was still trying to help Emily choose something affordable. He pointed at the cheapest dish on the menu. Asterisk. How about this one? We can share it. Asterisk. Emily nodded. Though her eyes lingered on a bowl of creamy pasta another child was eating a few tables away, she quickly looked down at her lap, trying not to hope for anything more. Asterisk. A few minutes later, something unexpected happened. One plate appeared, then another, a full meal, a dessert, a warm soup, fresh bread, pasta, even a small milkshake. Mason blinked up. I didn't order this, he said, confused and embarrassed. There must be a mistake. Asterisk. The waiter placed the plates gently, smiling with softness in his eyes that said more than words could. Asterisk. No mistake. Sir, he said politely. Asterisk. When Mason looked up in question, the waiter simply tilted his head toward Ava's table. Asterisk. Mason turned and their eyes met. Ava didn't smile. She didn't wave. She didn't try to make a scene. She simply offered a small nod, calm, respectful, almost apologetic, as if she hoped he understood this wasn't charity, but kindness. Mason swallowed hard. But why? He whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Asterisk. Ava spoke softly, just loud enough for him to hear. Asterisk. No one should have to choose between feeding themselves and their child. Her words seemed to hit him like a wave. Mason's lips parted, but no sound came out. Asterisk's shoulders trembled slightly. He quickly turned his face away, wiping at his eyes before Emily could see. Asterisk. Emily, delighted by the sudden feast in front of her, gasped. Asterisk. Daddy, is this for us, all of this? Mason nodded, voice cracking. Yes, baby, it looks like it is. Asterisk. He looked back at Ava again, and this time, there was a silent message in his eyes, gratitude deeper than words could ever express. Asterisk. Ava lowered her gaze, humbled. She hadn't done it for praise. Asterisk. She did it for the little girl who reminded her of herself. She did it for the man who reminded her of her mother's struggle, and somehow, she felt her own heart healing in the process.
This could be important. You should check it out.
The cool night breeze brushed against Ava's face as she stepped out of the restaurant with Liam's hand in hers. The warm glow of the restaurant lights spilled onto the sidewalk, illuminating the street with a gentle, golden hue. She inhaled deeply, feeling lighter than she had in days. Asterisk. A few moments later, the door behind her opened softly. Mason stepped out, holding Emily's hand. His steps were hesitant, almost unsure, as if he wasn't certain he had the right to approach her. Asterisk. Ava, he said quietly. She turned, offering him a calm, welcoming smile. I don't know how to thank you, he said, his voice trembling despite his efforts to stay composed. No one's ever done something like that for us. Asterisk. Emily peeked out from behind his leg, smiling shyly at Liam, who gave her a little wave. Ava shook her head gently. You don't owe me anything, she said. Just take care of your daughter. That's enough. Asterisk. But deep down she knew that wasn't the entire reason she had helped him. She had seen something in Mason: effort, resilience, the quiet strength of someone who worked hard every single day without expecting praise. Asterisk. And she wasn't done helping him. Asterisk. Releasing Liam's hand for a moment, she reached into her purse and pulled out a small, elegant card. Her fingers brushed the edges thoughtfully before she extended it toward Mason. Here, she said softly, I want you to come to this address on Monday. Mason frowned in confusion and took the card. His eyes widened as he read the embossed letters. Sterling Industries Executive Headquarters. He looked up sharply. Sterling Industries. Ava, this is your company. Ava nodded once. You've taken care of your daughter on your own. You've managed, even when things were hard. That takes strength and responsibility, qualities I value in my team. Asterisk. Mason opened his mouth, but no words came out. His throat tightened, emotion clawing at his voice. Asterisk. Are you offering me a job? He finally whispered. Asterisk. I'm offering you a chance. Ava replied. A job that matches your effort. You deserve that much. Asterisk. Tears gathered in Mason's eyes, not from humiliation this time, but from relief, pure, overwhelming relief. Asterisk. He bent down, lifting Emily into his arms, and whispered, We're going to be okay, sweetheart. Things are going to change. Asterisk. Ava watched them, her heart warm. Asterisk. As she and Liam began to walk away, Liam squeezed her hand and leaned closer. Asterisk. Mom, he said softly, you made them happy. Ava smiled, feeling tears prick her own eyes. No, she whispered. her voice trembling with emotion. Kindness made them happy. Kindness is the real wealth. Asterisk behind them, under the soft city lights, a father and daughter walked home, bellies full, hearts full, and futures brighter than they had been in a long time. Asterisk, a new beginning had just begun.